Mhm. Hello, hello, dear friends. Welcome. Hi, Flavia. Hi, Liana.
Hello.
Hello. Good to be here.
Like a chorus, we are. Welcome, dear ones. Welcome, Philip, Juana, Aurel. Welcome, Shannon. Welcome to each of you. I feel so much joy in my soul that we are going to be together during 1 hour in beautiful, welcoming frequencies and contemplating together a topic that is so transforming and so gentle and so deep. So warm welcome from me, and I pass it to you, Liana and Flavia, for your message of welcome.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here in this beautiful, warm space again with you to contemplate another one of the free resources that Richard offers so generously during many years, I think now. And this space has the intention to go in a deep dive related to these resources and to find deeper treasures that lay inside of us while we also contemplate and come together. And I'm so happy to be here again. There's always magic in these spaces. And I can't wait to see how today's topic unfolds. Thank you and welcome.
Hey, everybody. Really happy also to be here. I'm in a park in the middle of Bucharest and it's green and beautiful. There will be also some people around me, so if you hear them, you should know that they are here playing and enjoying themselves in the park. So somehow they will be joining our contemplation in the field. And I'm really, really happy today. We have a very special topic and it's just perfect for this time of my life. And I'm very excited to share with you. So yeah, let's get this going, dear friends. Claudia, I pass to you the microphone.
Thank you, Liana, Flavia. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's beautiful that you are in nature, and I'm also very close to nature, even though I'm inside right now in my house. But my dog is here with me. Arthur is his name, and he's a white wolf, and he's always so happy whenever I allow him to stay inside. And I say warm welcome from him as well. He's a beautiful soul, a wonderful guardian, and very connected to the transmission as well. So yes, welcome in this welcoming space, as Liana introduced so beautifully. This is a space dedicated to contemplate together the free materials written or transmitted through videos by Richard. And whenever we met and stayed around the topic, it happened to us something beautiful in the body and in the bodies actually, because we just enjoyed this nurturing experience. Always has been like this, even though it's a new space. We opened it, if I'm not mistaken, Liana, some 2 months ago, something like that, 2 lunar cycles. And we will continue to do it, to open it. It is a bi-monthly space every 2 weeks. And in the alternate weeks, we do it in Romanian as well. And we do the same. We just contemplate together with a translator, because we have a beautiful, beautiful team with dedicated people who really put their passion and their knowledge to translate these materials, in our case in Romanian, in order to many people to feel the transmission deeper. But we also want to contemplate it in English in order to make this space be global. So this is why we opened it in English as well. So what I propose to you before introducing the topic, I will let Flavia or Liana or both of them to introduce the topic for today. But before that, let's take a moment to just connect to just make a short attunement. So if it's possible to you to close your eyes, just do it. If not, just turn inside your attention and by letting your breath to be free as possible, maximum if it's possible, just turn inside your attention just to reconnect again with that peace and with that stability that we have inside us. And also to enjoy this energy activated by the sun in these days that is alive, the energy of Jinki 53, evolving beyond evolution is her name. And it's the energy that transmits this message of beginnings and also of continuing these beginnings through a steadfast development in a steady rhythm, step by step. So we may feel there inside us that we are in a transition in these days with this activation, but also in this wonderful phase of transmutation, of genetic mutation actually. So we all are living this transition, this continuous change, sometimes intense change. Maybe in each instant in our life, in the relationship with ourselves, in the relationship with others. This continuous change, we feel it, we live it. It's here. It's not concept. It's really life. It's happening. And that place inside us that is inviting us always, the solar plexus place, that is maybe that park that we have inside us, that lake or that sea or that ocean or both that is inside us, is inviting us to really relax and connect with its beauty and trust that we have there anything we need in order to manifest outside in an optimum way our response to what is coming, to what is unfolding. So let's feel this space with a representation that you have inside you, each of you. It's a unique representation. And if you feel, even though that space is a wonderful space to be alone with yourself, you may invite, if you feel to, another dear person who comes to your mind, to your imagination right now, and invite him or her to stay beside you. And you may let your imagination free and see how you maybe just sit together, one near the other, or you maybe hug each other, or maybe you hold your hands, or any gesture that you feel to experience in that space together with another beloved soul. And just breathe together and just enjoy the touch and the synchronization of your pulse and of the beat of your heart and of your breaths. And just enjoy the silence and the beauty and the awareness of this beauty that you both bring together in this moment. And now let's turn the attention towards the others. We each have somehow a pair inside us, so let's bring these pairs together in this common auric field. And let's just form a circle and feel, see, perceive this space like a sphere of light where we invite a transmission to guide us, to inspire us, to tell us her messages, and to contain and sustain us in whatever way of expression that we will feel to manifest in this hour together. Hey, so thank you so much for this beautiful co-creation. We may open our eyes. And thank you again for being here. And also, I say hello already to the people who will listen afterwards in the recording and to the people who will come maybe a little bit later. And now I pass it to you, Liana, Flavia, to introduce the topic for today and to start the contemplation. Thank you so much.
Yes, I would be happy to have the honor to introduce the topic. Thank you, Liana. And thank you, Claudia, for the beautiful, beautiful attunement. This will be a very warm space. This is how I feel it already. And yeah, I invite everybody to feel all throughout the meeting today this soul partner that we have inside. It feels like somehow like an energy. Sometimes I do this game of feeling that someone is somehow beside me, although there is no actual person. And it's very nice. It feels that somehow I feel this presence. So it's actually also, it's still me, but me in a complete way. So the topic of today is a very nice and short contemplation of Richard's, which is called Awakening Through Love. If you hadn't had the chance to watch it, you have the link in the message box. You can watch it maybe afterwards. It's very short, but very, very profound and beautiful. And it brings forward the contemplation of how deep the love between two beings can go. So he starts this contemplation with a very short story about a couple who went to the Buddha, and they were so deeply in love that they were afraid that death will separate them. So they went to the Buddha and asked him, what can they do so that they remain together even if death comes? So the Buddha said that they can stay assured and they can continue following the teachings. And if they keep their love as strong as it is, the promise for their hearts is that they will be reborn in the next life as one single awakened being. And yes, this is the contemplation that Richard brings forward. How can we live in this life thinking about our relationship, our closest relationship, as if it was the direct way towards awakening. And he actually says that it's the highest purpose that someone can live with, to actually live for this profound and huge love, this love that brings a being towards awakening, because an awakened being is the highest form of a human that can live on this earth. So this is the topic that we are discussing today. Maybe you already have some thoughts. Maybe already you think about how you are positioning yourselves in your love relationships. And maybe we can open the discussion and the contemplation related to this. How can we love the other so much, or if we have felt this until now, so much that we have this trust that after death, we will be together, that death cannot separate us. And actually, it can be more than that. It can actually bring us in unity. It can bring us even more together than we are right now in our lives. So yeah, this is how I felt the transmission from Richard, and the contemplation is open for us now. Liana, if you have something to add, or Claudia also, I pass you the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you, Flavia, for introducing this really beautiful material. And thank you, Claudia, for the attunement at the beginning. It's really a warm, unified space within us and among us. And it feels very, very nice. I was having a short conversation with Flavia before entering the room. And I was just saying that I'm happy this topic will be contemplated alongside you two, Flavia and Claudia and all the others, because at least about you two, I know you value a lot relationships and relating, and you are really passionate in your relating and in your love. And while connecting with the material, I've realized that I've never felt such love. I was never afraid about anyone except of my child, but that's another type of love. That at one point love will come and it will separate us. And for me, it was really interesting to see how, because I'm quite an independent, self-sufficient structure, to actually wonder how would be that like awakening that's actually facilitated by loving somebody else so much that you kind of make kind of agreement, a deep devotion between each other to actually step towards awakening together. Because for me, it speaks more the individuation path, the one where you do your work with yourself, and of course with the relationship you have with life and with reality, and of course the relationships with other people are part of that. But nevertheless, everything goes back to yourself, to the awakening through self. So for me, it's still a very curious and wondrous inquiry to have. How would it be to actually open or transform so much that I will allow myself to love so much, or allow myself to be loved so much, that the next natural step would be awakening in a couple, or awakening together, or working towards awakening. And even if that doesn't happen in this life, we know that we are on this path together. And what kind of being or person should that be that I can actually commit towards this kind of path? So I'm really, really curious. I'm really open to find out more from you and from everybody who's here about this kind of love. How do you feel this kind of love? Is it possible? Is it not? Um, and if you have experienced it some one way or another. So I really invite any of you to just share and to um, go in this journey in the awakening of love together. Thank you.
Thank you both for opening the space even more. And I already thank you to those of you who will listen to the impulse from inside to come and to share. And for me, it's so deep, this topic, because I have lived it, and I am living it in my relationship. Since I was so young, there was something inside me that was basically this call to know myself, to touch myself deeper and deeper. And actually, I realized that it was this call to awaken, like in this beautiful material Richa transmits to us, because this is the key. And it was not always easy when you are in a relationship to continue to listen to this call, because I have seen and I have lived situations when the other one has another rhythm. It's not that in my case, I'm speaking about my partner, my ex-husband, he was not listening to the call. He was listening to the call, but he has his own way to answer to it. And not always in a relationship, in a marriage or in a relationship, not always the rhythm is synchronized. And here it comes, the challenge sometimes, how one responds to that, how much patience or deep patience do we have in order to wait for the other, or to just to continue to stay on your path, to continue to awaken, to continue to answer to this call, and to grow this seed that you have planted in a moment when you decided inside you to respect the promise that you have made to your soul before you were born. It's not always easy, but as Richard says in this material, this is the key to stay in a relationship, to stay and to explore this synchronization that sometimes is possible, sometimes maybe you can make it possible. And when it is not possible anymore, so just to see that the experience has been accomplished and this is it, another relationship will come when this awakening together may happen. And yes, I find it a very inspiring topic and also very real. It's not only like a story or a concept, a spiritual concept. It's very practical as well. So I also invite you to come and to share, if you want, philosophically, or in this line of this material, but also from your lives. How do you answer to this awakening invitation together with the other? How do you make this possible? How do you manage this pilgrimage, I would call it, in this school of love that we all are students in? Yeah, thank you so much, and waiting for you here on the stage. As we always say, these are not spaces for professional speakers. These are spaces where we just come to share our understandings, our perceptions around the topic, and we just let ourselves be inspired by the flow of life and by the transmission. So you don't have to know already what you are gonna say. So please do come. Look, we already have Olivia with us. Oh, welcome, Olivia, dear. I'm so glad that you are here with us. So I pass it over to you.
Thank you, love. I just want to be sure that nobody else, the other ladies, didn't want to say anything. I just really loved receiving. I missed the first few minutes, but loved receiving everything that was shared so far. Wow. This is so close to my heart, these ways of looking at life and looking at relationships through the lens of healing and connecting through our healing. And so that's a simplified lens that I've worked with. My parents raised me with a lot of connection and focus on that. And yet, I was raised with a stepfather that I had almost no direct connection with, and a father that I desperately wanted to know viscerally in my body. And so my path has led me to work with consciously healing my absent masculine outside of me with other men, and my masculine inside myself from those lenses, and then other lenses too. So it has just been a very deep practice. There were times when I was in my 30s in an expanded community in North America, a town, small town, where a lot of us were immersed in collective consciousness and spiritual practices, all sorts of things. And I remember going through some phases of life where I was really focused on this aspect of my partnership with other men. And I was a mother at 21, and then again at 31. And this was after the ending of a 10-year relationship with the father of my second child. And so it was late in my 30s, maybe 36 or 37. And I began to recognize more deeply layers that were present in my 10-year relationship that were directly reflective of what my experience with my stepfather was. And they even had the same birthday. And so even though I was raised with that awareness, and when I met him, when I was 27, 26, I said, oh my goodness, you have the same birthday that my stepfather does. And I knew what that meant or could mean. On a beautiful, elevated level. I also honored and knew that the potential might be, not just with the day, but the potential would certainly be based on my own development at the time in relationship with love, with men, that to be sensitive and to be focused and to be aware that there may certainly be some reflective aspects of the lack of connection, or the pain story, the wound story that I had experienced as a girl with my stepfather. And so I was cautious, and I was very paced even at that age, because I was a mother early and I was already steeped in my spiritual focus. And yet, even with it being very deeply layered with karmic, patterns, I chose it. And it wasn't horribly painful by any means, but it was definitely a place for me to work out learning about my needs for connection, my needs for knowing myself, and then knowing myself with another, and knowing a man as himself in my life as a partner, and knowing a man as himself, all those, edges and layers of relationship. So, yeah, that's one aspect of truth. He wasn't able, simply because of his belief systems, wasn't able or interested in joining with me in a conscious way, as a partnered way of being with, feeling or relating to, dissecting the aspects of how our relating was manifesting, to work with it consciously. So it was a very solo practice in that way that I worked with it. And that was part of my learning and my evolution, as I gave myself permission to stay open and expanded through all of the edges, that were good for me or maybe not good for me. And then to finally choose to leave that relationship, to know that my caring, my beliefs, my study, my capacity, my desire, the energy of my blueprint, my soul, was meant to share the pleasure, the depth, and the enjoyment of sharing conscious relationship. And then I could not continue on my journey of honoring my truth and my study and my growth with him as my partner, because that wasn't his framework or lens or caring or ability or choice. So, so, from that point, I'm 50 now. From that point, there were times even in this expanded community where I started, going on, or I started from that place when I started telling this story, where I would sit with men friends and learn to receive connection and receive support and receive attention, and so there were these different layers, because I hadn't experienced that in different relationships. And then I began to choose partners and dating experiences that were more conscious and were in the, the depth and the multi-layered psychologies and sciences and spiritual consciousnesses of relationship. And so I very methodically opened myself to many different experiences of consciously working with what was showing up for us, how our relationship manifested between us, with a few men that really had caring about telling their story or identifying their wound patterns. This is what my parents' story was, and my mother's story was, and my past relationship story was, and this is what is true for us, and how these patterns are manifesting, and how can we support each other, learning more about that, working with that within ourselves and with each other. And so it certainly wasn't 100% that, but there was pepperings of that. There were aspects of those ways of languaging and ways of each of us, having conversation and working with it to some degree. Excuse me. And so now I have been in that energy, in that focus, in that awareness, forward, being single for a handful of years, very consciously and deliberately, from another layer, from the layer that my heart and life has led me to pursue, just deep conscious relationship, so that the purpose of relationship will be to be moving, trusting the energy of what comes in, but working with the most, methodical, honoring, humble, open, receptive attention, and caring, to be present of and connected to who I'm attracted to and why, and who, as they come in, why are they attracted to me, and just being in those just pure, sweet places, not to have to know everything, not to be closed and judgmental and automatically, say yes or no, but to be deeply connected to my desire and my capacity and my caring to be in relationship, to heal, to be aware of, everything I've been speaking about and everything they would bring to me in awareness and in focus, and so that my experience, my choice in life, and how I share relationship is about experiencing my own evolution, experiencing myself growing through what I've been given that looks like conditioning and wounding, but I believe is really invitations and energy imprints and lessons asking me to elevate and experience and embody those and give those back to my world, through my lived way of being, through my relationships, through myself, through my what partnerships I create and co-create with. So I've said plenty, but it's very much been my life path and my absolute love and what I focus on most of the time, and love focusing on and helping others focus on the beauty of, appreciating, bringing our mental consciousness into our bodies to experience what's happening and then care about what's happening and then learning from what's happening and how we can grow from all of these edges of experience and heal all these edges of experience and know ourselves and each other more consciously and lovingly and differently. So thank you for amazing topic and beautiful, clear, powerful shares that were already shared, and holding space to hear from me as well. Thank you so much. I'm in such a place of transition myself right now and really blessed by all of this. So thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. That was so rich, so inspiring. So many things came up while you were telling us your story. It's very nice that you mentioned the periods in your life and your age when different things happened. Wow, we have such different journeys, each of us. And
Flavia, dear, sorry, if you can speak a little bit louder, or if you can just raise a little bit the volume of your mic.
I'm sorry, just a second. Is there any difference right now?
A little bit better.
I don't know.
Okay, it's better. It is better. Thank you.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I wanted to bring up a bit more about the topic, and maybe also invite some of the men who are in the room to share. Maybe it would be very nice to hear the perspective of a man also. I was thinking about this meeting between two people, and how different it is when we are alone and we are connecting to this ideal of partnership, and how we feel it inside individually. How, for example, for me, it's always been like this huge loving connection that I felt. I was also raised without my natural father, so maybe it's a common theme with you, Olivia. When I'm thinking about my partner, my ideal partner, there is this unbelievable love that I connect myself with, and sometimes I feel that it's such a huge and maybe heavy image or archetype or place for a real man to come into, that it's actually very hard to embody and to be real. For the moment, I'm still young. I'm 33, and I'm observing how different life comes after my deconditioning process and after I become more and more clean of my family's influences. So I'm sure that at some point there will be less interaction with a partner from this perspective of healing and deconditioning karma, and there will be more a meeting from this heart space where both of us maybe can meet more often and share this love that we have beyond the clashes and the themes that often bring people together. So I will leave this question maybe for everyone and whoever wants to come up again on the stage and talk. How is it different when you are alone and you are connecting with this archetype of the lover, the beloved? And how is it when you are in a relationship and you are trying to embody that connection? And when do we actually realize, and when do we actually manage to overlap these two feelings, if we ever do? This is one of the contemplations that I'm inviting also everyone to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, Flavia, for your open question and sharing. And Olivia, indeed, that was very rich. Um, so many layers of experience and life and understandings in what you've shared. And I'm really grateful that that you did come on stage. I had many feelings passing through me while listening to you, Olivia, as well as Flavia, relating to the topic. Oh, Nadia is coming as well. I'll be short. Welcome, Nadia. It's this thing related to the maturation, to going towards the end of a cycle in a natural way, so we can end it with a life experience that's already integrated. Because as Claudia was saying, we are transiting this 53. That is part of a channel that it's about sustainable growth and maturation, and it's also the evolution beyond evolving beyond evolution. And I think that we actually need to go through some experiences that serve us, serve our growing from, the immature state of relating. That's of course based on our traumas, our conditioning, our patterns, and then to be able to mature out of that. And after we reach that level, we can, and that would be the evolution, is the individuation. And then afterwards, it's something similar with what Olivia shared. Like, you become more conscious about your choices and about the things you are going towards, and more conscious about your real needs and desires, and of course conscious of your value and of your qualities. And then the space where you're relating from definitely changes, and so is the ones who you attract or are attracted to. So for me, this plays out as the evolution that is possible after we mature. So there are some relationships who serve our awakening, even if they are karmic or even if they are hard to go through. But they're still part of our awakening. And I think everything that the Venus sequence offers us, it's about that. Like, have the relationship as a teacher, have the other as a teacher, and mature, reach an emotional maturity. And I was also thinking about the 54, who's now active at the earth level, which in I Ching is the marrying maiden. And the marrying maiden looks for, in the tradition, is the one who's looking to go up the social status. But on a mystical level, the marrying maiden is the one who looks for ascension. It's also the serpent path, 54. But the marrying maiden will never get into a relationship that's below her current status. She always looks forward, always looks up for another one. So what you shared, Olivia, reminded me of that. That once you have that level of maturity, you're going towards your ascension. You're looking for something that will lift you up even more. So, and thank you very much. And Nadia, welcome. And I can't wait to hear you share. Nadia, I think your mic is not active, so you might have to leave the room a bit and then come back. It happened before. It's a bit of a technical glitch.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. But yeah, Nadia, so just if you can just leave the room and then enter again, and we bring you again on the stage. But I believe that you will come back again directly on the stage. Okay. So until this technical play happens, it's playful Clubhouse sometimes, and there are more and more people coming here to express themselves, their essences, and maybe this is why sometimes these things happen. I want to thank you, Olivia, for your beautiful and full of grace share, and so transparent and so natural, and yeah, also Flavia and also Liana. So I want to thank you so much for that. For me, it's so powerful also this idea that Richard included in this material, that our self-awareness actually help us to connect love with service. And you, Olivia, touched this in your share. And I wanted to bring it here because from my life as well, I realized, and I realize each day actually, yes, how important it is, because any choice that we make in our primary relationship and in all our relationship actually plant seeds for other relationship and help, support, inspire some other people whom we touch to become aware, and on their turn to bring awareness to others. So it's a multiplication. It's a beautiful multiplication, this awareness, and it becomes service. And in his material, Richard says that this is the noblest actually thing that we may do, this self-awareness, because it's the noblest way to serve the other and to serve life. And I think it's really beautiful, and I feel the truth of this statement. Thank you for listening. And yes, Olivia, dear, you wanted to say something, or
I was
you
clapping.
yeah, thank you. We have Nadia back, so let's see, Nadia, maybe now the mic works.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we listen to you. Yes, wonderful.
Thank you, Claudia. Liana, it's so interesting that you talked about the Marian maiden, because that's my pearl. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you guys, hearing you guys talk about relationships, and I think I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable, is that I've never had a relationship. I've always been single. And it's just now at a point where it's just because I'm having health issues and I'm scared, they're serious, and I hope that it's going to be okay. And I don't know, it's just like, it just feels like none of this is going to happen. And I've been in the Gene Keys since September. I did the Pearl retreat, and anyway, I was reading up on my life's work, which is Gene Key 38, and also my evolution is Gene Key 39. And as I'm reading, it says this is a very heavy duo, and it's like without these gene keys there would be no world, because we hold the shadow of the world. And I'm like, okay, well, my purpose is just to hold the shadow of the world, you know. And it's just yeah, it's just how frustrated I'm feeling, or very, you know, I'm going to be 50 in January, so it's like a long time. Like, I think I had my first relationship was when I was 18, 2.5 years, and then, you know, I definitely had trauma as a child, for sure, sexual abuse, I get it. And yes, Liana, there is absolutely no way that I'm getting involved with anybody who is lower than me, so yes, that's another part of it. So anyway, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Sorry, there's a really loud noise coming from outside. That let me just gather my thoughts. And then there's you know, I'm doing the dream arc, and I've been reflecting on the swan. And then, you know, Richard talks about the swan, and it's just like it takes years and years for these people to get the grace. And it's just like, but then there comes to it, they're really honestly, and this is where I'm at right now. And I have always been a spiritual person. I have meditated. I've stayed at ashrams. So it's like part of me has always thought, how come I haven't attracted the spiritual aspect, like the spiritual part of myself? Like, you know, or how come, you know, I can't. But I guess I've been doing such deep shadow work, and it's just so required, and it's a part of, you know, what I have to do here. But yeah, so now it's just like I don't even think it's going to happen, and I'm feeling really frustrated. You know, I'm trying to keep positive with my health issues. I'm doing a lot of breathing into the areas, and, you know, I'm loving my body and stuff like that. But that I just turned a corner with, honestly. So I guess it's like, I wish I could be like these women who have had relationships, and the way you guys talk about relationships, and I have no idea. It's such a, you know, it's such a mystery to me. And honestly, I think that I just really, really wanted to express that. I wish I could be like you guys, and I don't know if it's going to happen for me. And I hope that it's like the swan that's given me a little bit of inspiration, that maybe one day I can have grace, not necessarily with a relationship, but also finding that inner peace or something. But it's like being single is really hard. Like, I study psychology. We're social animals. You know, we need connection. And I know that it would be really healing for me as well, having a relationship. I know that it's not going to be codependent or anything like that, because I know all of those patterns. At the moment, there's like a lot of men who are just like, you know, there's a guy that I met. It's like he's got a girlfriend. He's living with his he's got a girlfriend. He's living with his ex-girlfriend, raising the kids in a very toxic environment. And then he wants me to enter the picture. And all I'm doing is I'm just, you know, on like having very healthy boundaries and giving him respect. But it's so humiliating. So humiliating. Plus, he's younger than me. And part of me just wants to say, hey, what's your, like, do you think that, like, because we met at this boxing gym, and it's like, and he's boxing champ, it's like, you're the only one who can get that title. You're the only one who can do your inner work. And I'm thinking he just wants, I don't know what he wants me to do. I feel like saying, what do you want me to do? What do you expect that I can do for you? You've got to do your own work. But I've got to be polite, and I've got to be gentle and patient with people. And then there's just that part of me that's just so sad, languishing, so depressed, so alone. And I've just never been able to build roots anywhere for very long. So anyway, I feel good that I was able to really, really share that, and that you guys are talking about it, and it feels nice that you guys are talking about it as well. So thank you for holding a space, and thank you for letting me share, guys. Appreciate it.
Nadia, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for expressing it freely, you know. Thank you for really letting your essence to find its way to come here and to make your voice be listened. Because I listen to you and I receive you. You know, and we all here in this space, for sure, we have the open hearts to receive. And I want to congratulate you, really, because you don't want to make yourself small to enter in a place that you have outgrown already. So for sure that your soul knows that the selection that you are making is maybe due to this, you know, you really want to enter into a space where really is your place. So also what I would, with all my heart, like invite you is to focus your attention more and more and more on the gifts and on the CD level. Because the shadow work is a noble one, clearly, definitely. We need it. And with a 39 there, it's clear in your profile activated, it's clear in the activation sequence that you need, or you have needed the shadow work. But sometimes, you know, and even Richard says it, sometimes he says, stop processing so much. Stop processing. You know, because you are more than that. The shadow, you know, the 39 has, I have said this, I don't know where, but I have said it in many spaces, and I say it here as well. The 39 has the most magnetic shadow. It may attract all the other shadows, the other 63 shadows. And if you stay there so much, I mean, it's really, really tough. But at the same time, what I can see and I really perceive while you are speaking, Nadia, is that you have inside your DNA a multiple door portal. Because actually this 39 is also like a temple with 64 doors. And all the 64 shadows are doors that invite you to go further. So you may go towards the level of gift and CD through whatever perspective you want. You have this versatility, you know. So this is what I really, really feel to tell you. And then, wow, the topic of this article is really so inspiring. And while you continue to plant this seed of self-awareness, and like it says in this material so beautifully, just let me read it. Continue just a second to find it, because it's so beautiful. Continue to plant the seed of self-awareness into the center of relationship that you desire. So plant it there with your intention, and continue to plant it, and continue to pour water there, and continue to plant it, you know, to put it there. And then you suddenly will, I'm sure that your attractor field will open up so much and will bring to you that clarity to recognize that space for your dimension, for the dimension of consciousness that you have already reached. So it's like I was really, I felt to tell this to you. It's not from me, it's from the transmission. You know, so let's hope that it's useful for you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for listening, and wishing you well. And I really support you. And please let us know when you have this clarity of the energy that you really need to come into your intimacy. And then the person will come, but the energy is the most important. To get the energy that you need in your intimacy. Thank you. Much love from me. And we have Gabriel here with us. But maybe Flavia, Liana, you would like to say something before we invite Gabriel to speak.
Thank you, Nadia. It was a really, really powerful opening right there. And I'm really happy that you came here and you shared. And Claudia has brought so many good points. And I hope that they will land exactly where you need them most. I just want to add that 50 is a really noble age. It's the return of Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. And probably part of the process you're going through right now, it's opening exactly those portals that Claudia mentioned. And they can be open to magnetize more shadow, or they can be open to magnetize more of the gift and city frequencies. So just trust yourself and trust this opening, because this provocation you're going through, it's actually for you first, and then you will be able to do it for other people as well. Um, all the provocation is meant for us to embody more of the spirit, more of our essence. And even if it looks challenging, it's actually exactly what we need. And there is great, great strength in these archetypes of 38 and 39. There is so much strength and so much powerful impact, potential of impact that you have. And it's up to you. How would you like to impact your inner and outer world? With what type of frequency? Because this strength decides for itself where it will be directed. And what other thing came is that probably this is how I feel. You will need to find the softness to receive this strength, or to find the softness in yourself and just surrender to the process, so this strength can flow through you and heal you and open all the gates that need to open right now for you and the other. And thank you again for sharing, and I wish you all the best and all the beautiful and all the grace that you need in your process. Thank you.
Just a small intervention from me. Thank you a lot to all of you who spoke, and Nadia, it was very, very valuable that you shared from this vulnerable space. There was an exercise that came up in my mind while you were speaking, and afterwards, while Claudia and Liana were also speaking. I was thinking also about this in my relationship. There is this space that we create when two people are meeting. So I call it the space between us. There is also a book that is called like this, the space between us. And there can be a very, very simple exercise that we can do on a sheet of paper, just maybe to draw two people, and between them to draw a circle and to write in that circle all the things that come up to us, to our mind, that we first put in when we go into a relationship. We can do this exercise no matter if we are in a relationship or not. There will be fears, and there will be projections, and there will be dreams also. So I just wanted to share. Anyone can do this exercise, and then when we see what we are writing over there, it becomes a bit more clear that there are many things that we are bringing when we are going towards someone, and the other person will subtly feel everything, and we also receive the same quantity from the other. So maybe it's a nice exercise to do together when we are in a relationship. Thank you for this, and I pass on to Gabriel.
May I offer something to Nadia?
Yes, please.
Nadia, I really loved your openness and your vulnerability and your connection to your experience and all that you know. I just want you to know that that obviously all of us, we're feeling you and supporting you. And, my experience is usually when I open my body to connect with my truths and then bring them out, through my voice, through my body, the way that you have and the way we're all experiencing together, then others can connect with that. And the part of my story when I said I came out of that marriage and started working with friendships with men and recognizing what I needed to experience in a safe place that wasn't about romantic or sexual relationship or feelings or expectations or excitement, any of that. As I started to do that consistently, speak to those humble needs, like, can you, help create a safe space with me for me to practice and for me to share. That was me doing it for myself and inviting my friends, my male friends, to do that with me. And a few years later, after being in that space, when I became 40, my birth father came back into my life, and I've been working with that relationship for about 10 years without in and out of other relationships. So the power of our own, that you are modeling right now, that can be, and I'm sure you already know this, but just wanting to support and celebrate that energy that you're beginning now to claim for yourself and to grow into a new experience is so powerful and so true. So thank you for the reminders and for your openness and your sweetness and your humility and your power and your awareness. So much love to you.
Thank you, Olivia, and thank you to all. And Gabriel, now it's your turn, so you may open your mic to listen to your share.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So it was wonderful to hear all of you sharing. Definitely inspired me and um, brought up some insights, and I am grateful for that. I also felt like sharing a bit about the journey I'm going through, and I resonated a lot with what Nadia said about studying psychology and knowing the patterns, and also um, I also have this deep spiritual sight or way of seeing that I've kind of been disconnected from because I felt called to dive into studying about trauma and psychological trauma and so on. And so I kind of lost that connection with the divine, might I say. And it's definitely been daunting and heavy because, as Claudia and Richard also mentioned, I forgot about the measure of, being focused on the shadow and the measure of being focused on the gifts and the cities. And so I went down, pretty down. But it's also been very helpful to see those things and study about them, because I've discovered there were pockets of emotions and energies that I hadn't felt into, like blockages from childhood and a long time ago. And so, of course, that brought up a lot of rage and hate and so much hurt and uncried tears from a childhood of emotional neglect. And at some point in this journey, I felt inspired to listen to Richard's 7 Days of Grace and just kickstart my spiritual practice and prayer and the things in this area. And now I see, like, I recognize that I need this balance to also stop processing all the time and remember that there are people in my life that love me now and that there are people who are happy to support me. Um, and I was kind of blind to that in a way. I was so focused on the shadow and the injustice and the humiliation, and I don't want to put a cover over that, but just not all the time. Yeah. Oh well, I forgot where I was going with this. Um, oh yeah, this whole process, I see now that it, although it kind of took me away from my feminine and my sensibility, somehow by focusing on all that material, shadow material, I kind of came back around. It kind of, it's like a finger that points to the moon, but it's not actually the moon. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I just wanted to share and be vulnerable a bit and say that it really hasn't been an easy journey. And yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say, and I wanted to be heard with this, because there aren't many people which I can open up to about, heavy stuff and pain and suffering. But I'm glad to just be here together with you and share this space of just being and opening and hearing everyone else's stories, and that's very inspiring. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Gabi, for again letting your essence speak, and for sharing with all the vulnerability and all this transparency. And thank you for bringing the masculine energy here on the stage, as Flavia was inviting before. I'm always so glad when a man comes, because normally most of the people who are in the rooms and also on the stage are women. And I'm glad when a man comes and also opens up to express whatever he feels and his perspective, because we need both perspectives. And thank you for the share. It's healing. It's healing for you. It's healing for us. Congratulations for seeing your shadows and for seeing also those moments when you are really sick of so many searching and for so many processing, because it's also truth in this seeing that is too much. It is too much sometimes. Sometimes we really believe that we evolve, but actually it's many times it's from the mind, when we really want to work with everything and to solve everything. And exactly like Richard says, come on, be, how did it say? Did he say it was like, come on, be reasonable. We will not solve all our karma in one life. We need to be reasonable. So thank you, Gabriel, so much for that. And you know it already. You know that I support you. And I would like to also bring an exercise, as Flavia brought before one, like a small practice that I find it so valuable. Working through questions, you know that it's really inspiring, and this inquiry through questions. And it is one question that I invite you to use when you make these pauses for contemplation, for reflection. And this question is, what is that factor? Could be a human factor or could be something else that is really occupying my space. we don't realize, and I see also in my life, that we really don't realize, we don't see, if we do not put focus there, we don't see how many things or people really occupy our space. And sometimes we need to stop and look at these factors that are becoming toxic because they stay there in that space. They do not move from there. And it's a static energy, and it becomes really toxic because it's not anymore their place there, inside your space, in your intimacy, maybe even in your heart. It's not, they are not a priority in the moment, in this moment of your life. And sometimes we need to do this cleansing. We need to look at these factors, let's call them, that are occupying your space. So when you identify that thing, just honor it, acknowledge it, and give thanks, and yes, gratitude, and invite that person or experience or energy, whatever it is, to move from there, to move, and to really leave through the easiest path and way possible, really to leave your space, you know? And yeah, let's see how it works for you. I started to do it as well, and it's really, it's beautiful, and also might be effective. It may make space in order to be able to see other people, other relationships, other experiences, other healthy factors, supporting factors, inspiring factors to enter into your space. Yeah, so thank you so much. I will pass it to Flavia, Liana, if they want to really tell us their messages, and then Sarah is also with us.
Thank you, Claudia. And may I add something else before I go?
Yes, please.
It opened up inside
Please
me.
do it.
So, what's been most difficult for me?
Now we cannot hear you very well, Gabriel.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I had my finger over the microphone spot. Sorry. So, what has been the most difficult, and kind of still is as a process, is the fact that I realized I was I was kind of in a relationship, at least on the emotional level, with my mother, like for the most of my young years, in my teenage years, and also in my young adult phase, and up until now. And I realized that this dynamic wasn't healthy, and I chose to step out of that compromise, and it's been and it still is at times hard on the emotional level. It's like I feel like this is the biggest change I have chose to make in my life, and I say this because I wanted to create a bridge, a link to today's subject of relationships, and also from what Liana said about her relationship with her child, and I felt like also bringing that up, but I was kind of ashamed beforehand, but now I got the courage. So thank you for listening to me, and thank you for your suggestion, Claudia.
And thank you for gathering the courage to show up and express. I'm okay. If Flavia doesn't have anything else to add, I will give the mic to Sarah.
Yeah, I'm also okay. Very grateful for everything.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, I've had a few things rise up to my awareness during this room. But the one thing I feel to express and to talk about is, well, the subject of awakening, the awakening process in relation. How are we, navigating it with our relationships in our life? And I had been through this process where I have emerged. I've started awakening, and realizing there's nobody around me that is doing this, and so I had to reach out further. But in my own physical sphere world, I really had to. I had to focus, and when I was at this point, it's kind of when I started. I felt I needed to start the Venus sequence, and as I did that, I have this part of me that wants to move forward. I'm seeing all this expansion and where we can go as we awaken, and then I have this past life pulling me, and I feel like has this claws and hooks in me of this custody battle and this past relationship and helping my two girls move through all this. And so it's been a bit of an internal battle, and how can I move forward and be positive rather than always focusing on what I is really holding me back. And what the Venus sequence helped me realize is I can't, truly move forward like I want to until I turn around and face my relationships that are currently going on in my life, rather than just kind of waiting for them to dissolve or something or leaving them behind. I came to that point where that's not going to work. I have to face these. And since I have faced them, it's really brought this another level of empowerment, self-empowerment, because I was brave. I faced these hard relationships, and so it's really brought some power and strength into myself. And one thing, Claudia, you mentioned about the space, and that's what I felt. I felt like I was raised in such a big family. My marriage was just full of people in and out of my home at all times. I really didn't ever have a space of my own, even as an adult, just with the culture I was raised in, and that was difficult for me to be raised in, because I lost myself. I lost myself amongst all the people and the emotions and the energy around me. And so, I get to be 46 last year, and I'm just realizing that all these thoughts and feelings going in my head, I don't know whose they are, what I can't, put my finger on what's mine. And I finally had that breakthrough last year. And what helped me to have that was just the space. I had to create this space from everybody else in my life. And I needed it. I could see that I needed it to be able to really know who I am. And I've really, in the last 6 months especially, just fallen in love with this process of self-knowledge. And so daily in my life, I wake up and my ritual is to clear out the old patterns, and the old physically, like I'm in a new home, redoing it, clearing out physical stuff from my past. And it's just really this whole physical, emotional, mental environment that I've created for myself, where my girls are with me for week on, week off, so I have the time to really integrate them into my awakening, their relationships into this awakening. And I still have the space to be able to deal with my ex-husband in this whole situation so it can come to a resting point and me and my girls can move forward. But I've always like been anxious to be in a relationship and wanting to be there, have that connection with somebody. And now in my life, like I love so much the process of discovering who I am and what I can do with my future that I don't even think about that. I feel like I'm actually not really even ready for that, that I'm just loving the experience of falling in love with myself, I guess, for the first time. And so I just wanted to share that. Yeah, that's what I felt to discover. So thank you so much for listening.
Dear Sarah, thank you. I really felt your share. Touched me really deeply. Beyond what you've expressed in words is like the tenderness and vulnerability of your process and of your journey. And I'm really grateful that that you've shared. For me, it's like I don't have anything else to add. I'm really happy that you've embraced the Venus process. I think it's one of the best spaces you could find yourself right now, and that mentioning space that you've managed to find space for yourself and to go toward yourself, because as far as I'm concerned, that's the first and main step towards relating to with somebody. We really need to embody ourselves first, as much as we can, of course. And I can also feel your heart and your desire, and it's really soft and beautiful. That's all I can say, and I really trust that it will guide you and it will lead you and it will pull you towards where you need to be for the next stage of your beautiful life. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, Sarah, I also want to thank you and for sure your daughters. Really, they, on one side, I'm sure that they inspire you to do this self-awareness work, but at the same time, they benefit of it. So it's a two-way process, and it is beautiful. Also, it is also challenging because whenever we are, as you said, in love with our process of self-awareness and awareness in anything that we do, and we think and we feel and we touch, we manifest. Also, it is this challenge also to bring this energy of love into service. I mean, to bring it on earth, to bring it in the body. So this love for our process also to inspire us and make us to manifest it in our real life, in our mundane plane, in our real context, in our day by day, and in our day by day relationship as well. So thank you so much, Sarah, and to all of you, to you, Olivia, to you, Nadia, to you, Gabi, and of course to you, Liana and Flavia, and to all of you who are listening, and to those of you who will listen afterwards. I would love to leave you from this beautiful article and actually video of Richard with this message that for me is quintessential. Living love as a service, as a service to your soul and to the soul of the other and of the others. I really feel that this is the noblest, yes, thing that we may do in our life. And this is about how Richard says, about how, not so much about what do we do in our life, but about how do we do it. So thank you so much for being today here, and I invite you already to come back again in 2 weeks' time and in any of these gatherings that you are available to come or to listen. Thank you so much for your beautiful presence and energies and frequencies and awareness. And thank you for what we have co-created today. So this is my ending message, and I pass it to you, Flavia and Liana, for your closing messages. Thank you, and big love to all of you.
Yes, thank you also. This is such a rich topic. I think we could do so many meetings only to open it again. There is only one thought I would like to leave here at the end, which actually came to me from the beginning. There was a moment when, actually after being in the Venus sequence and realizing that this road of self-awareness implies looking at the pains, just as you said, Sarah. At some point there was a moment where I was feeling so much pain that I wrote on one of my journals that I'm afraid that love would crush my heart. I was afraid that love would bring me death. This is what I wrote. I'm not sure that I'm able to survive in my body the power of true love breaking my heart. And I reread this page in my journal a few times afterwards, and I realized each time I open this sacred wound, it happens again. My heart is breaking a bit more, but it's just breaking open from the past pain, and the relationship is the strongest way to do this. And each time I experience this fear, actually it brings me more into my life, and it makes me feel more alive. So I just wanted to leave this small thought and this small contemplation that of course relates to the Venus sequence also. And thank you all. Thank you for your vulnerable sharings, and I hope to see you again, to hear you again.
Thank you as well. Beautifully shared. As an ending, Claudia and Flavia, I will just leave you with my love, with my appreciation, with my deep gratitude of being here today. I will listen to the replay again in my own time and space, and I wish you deep love towards yourselves and as a service to others whenever the time is right for you. And thank you, and we'll wait for you at the next Contemplative Heart in 2 weeks. Have a beautiful weekend, and see you soon.
I will leave the room open for a few moments just to stay in silence a little bit, in this sweet silence between us. And after that, I will close it. Thank you. Lots of love.